Welcome back to Behind the Crime Scene. If you've been following the Dezi Freeman case, or if you're just tired of the confusion in the headlines, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we dig into the details everyone else skips. Today, we're breaking down one question people keep asking. Why did 10 police officers show up to execute a single search warrant at Dezi Freeman's property? According to Victoria Police, the operation that day wasn't an arrest. It was a search warrant. But before we go any further, let's make one thing clear. This video isn't about how Dezi Freeman managed to confront 10 police officers. It's about why there were 10 officers there in the first place. Because when that many police show up at a man's property in regional Victoria, it's not a routine visit. It's considered a planned, high-risk operation. Hours later, 3 officers would be shot. So let's break down exactly who those 10 police were and why that number actually makes sense for a search warrant. Number 1. The independent officer. Every search warrant includes one independent officer, usually a sergeant or above, who oversees the process. They're not involved in the investigation itself. They're there to make sure everything follows procedure, observing and advising, while keeping the operation accountable. Number 2. The lead investigator. This is the officer who applied for the warrant, organized the team, and led the operation. They coordinate every step from planning the entry to overseeing the arrest and later interviews if a suspect is detained. Number 3. The video operator. Most modern warrants are fully recorded, not just through body cams, but by a video operator whose job is to document the entire process with a handheld camera, creating an official record of what actually happens inside. 4. The exhibits officer, 1 of 10. When evidence is found, firearms, drugs, documents, the exhibits officer takes over. They photograph, label, and secure every item so it can later stand up in court. Nothing leaves the property without their record. Number 5 to 8. Entry and containment officers. Now we reach the tactical side. For a warrant flagged as high risk, police bring in entry and containment officers, often from specialized units. Their job? To secure the area, control movement, and ensure no one enters or leaves during the operation. Because police intelligence suggested firearms might be present, this team was essential. Number 9 to 10. Searching officers. Finally, the searching officers, the ones who physically search the property. In this case, a converted bus and possibly surrounding land. 2 officers would be typical for a space that small, unless the search extended beyond the immediate area. So, why 10 officers? Add it all up: 1 independent, 1 lead investigator, 1 video operator, 1 exhibits officer, 4 entry officers, and 2 searchers, and you've got 10 police in total. That's the standard number for a high-risk search warrant in Australia. Not excessive, not extraordinary, just operational reality. So here's what we still don't know, and what nobody seems willing to clearly explain. If police described this as a high-risk search warrant, what exactly made it high risk? Was there credible intelligence suggesting Dezi Freeman was armed? Was there a history of violence, or simply rumors floating around social media that got taken too seriously? And if this was such a dangerous situation, why execute it the way they did, in the middle of the day, in a rural area, without specialized negotiators on standby? These are the kinds of questions that matter now, because they go beyond one man or one incident. They touch on the bigger issue: how much force is considered reasonable when police act on uncertain intelligence? When 10 officers roll up to a single property, is that strategy, or is that fear driving the operation? Was this a case of proper caution, or a sign that authorities expected confrontation from the start? And if they did, what made them so sure? The truth is, none of us have seen the full intelligence brief that led to this warrant. We don't know what the task force was told before they arrived. We don't know whether there was a specific threat, or if this was a precautionary measure that spiraled into something far worse. Even more concerning, the official narrative has changed multiple times. First, the story was about a homemade gun. Then, it became an arsenal of weapons. Then suddenly, the language shifted again, and we started hearing phrases like complex incident and tragic confrontation. So what's real? What's speculation? And how much of the truth is being filtered before it reaches the public? These shifting details raise serious questions about transparency. Are authorities withholding information for operational reasons? Or are they trying to manage public reaction? Because when people lose trust in the story, they start looking for their own answers. And that's exactly what we've seen in this case. Online investigators, podcasts, and entire communities trying to fill the gaps left by official silence. But let's stay focused on one core fact. This began as a search warrant, not an arrest, not a standoff, just a legal order to check a property. So what went so wrong that 3 officers ended up shot, and a nation ended up asking why? Was it a matter of poor planning, faulty intelligence, or something deeper? A systemic problem in how high-risk warrants are handled in regional Australia. Because for a lot of people watching, this case isn't just about Dezi Freeman anymore. It's about how law enforcement uses information, how they justify escalation, and whether the public ever gets to see what really happened before the first shot was fired. So maybe the better question isn't, why were there 10 police? Maybe it's, who decided there needed to be 10? And what were they told that made that decision seem necessary? Until those answers come out, we're left to keep asking. And that's what we'll continue to do here. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, share this video with someone following the case, and tell me in the comments. Do you think police were justified in bringing 10 officers? Or did they overreact based on bad intel or pressure to act quickly? Do you believe this was a tragic chain of errors? Or the result of something deeper within the system? And most importantly, do you think we'll ever get a straight answer about what really happened that morning? Drop your thoughts below. Your perspective helps keep these stories alive and holds those in power accountable. This is Behind the Crime Scene. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.